So, hi guys, welcome to the MMA UK BJJ show. Tonight, obviously, a special guest tonight is Chris Thompson. Okay, Chris Thompson, aka Mr Grapplefest. Going to have a chat with Chris, obviously, about his own jiu-jitsu kind of career, obviously how he got started, and talking obviously a bit about Grapplefest. As I said, it's kind of the topic at the moment. Everybody's wanting to get back competing as soon as possible. So obviously I'll be keen to hear obviously what Chris's thoughts going forward are going to be. So Chris, thank you very much, brother. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, great to be here, mate. Great to be here.
How you been? Obviously with the lockdown and stuff like that.
It's not so bad for me. Where I am, I'm over in Spain, Anna, at the moment these days. So we've had the gyms open since I think it was June, July, something like that. We had like 3 months real heavy lockdown, couldn't go out the house. It got to the end of May, that eased off, and then they let the gyms sort of get back. I'm sure it was about June time, but I had a knee operation then. I decided, well, we have this time. I got my meniscus sorted out, which had been bothering me for a couple of years. So I got that done and dusted. So I was sort of back properly training sort of around end of July, August time. And then basically, as long as you're a federated athlete, because you have a federation over here, it's a national governing body, proper federation. As long as you're a federated athlete, you were training, you were allowed to train. The gyms have been okay. It's temperature check. You know, as soon as you walk through the door, everyone's got to have one, every class, things like that. Anyone shows any symptoms, anything. But to be fair, we haven't had any issues at all. We've had no issues at all. A couple of people have shown symptoms, who've stayed off 14 days. They've been okay, but everyone's pretty, healthy and fine. The cases are quite low. Where I am in Malaga, it's pretty low. So yeah, we've been really lucky compared to some of the guys I know in the UK who've just had an absolute nightmare, and still are continuing to have a nightmare. So I feel a bit for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a horrible situation. Obviously, it's something that none of us have ever seen before. I mean, it's a bit different when it's things like you can control, like things like a lot of gyms, if there's ringworm or staph infection, and you can control that and kind of monitor that. But obviously, COVID, unfortunately, is one of these things that, it's out with our control.
No. Yeah, and I think what you said there, it's not just for grappling and BJJ, for everyone. We've never seen anything like this, ever before in our lives, have we? And I'm 46 years old, and I have never seen anything like this. I've never had a lockdown, never been stopped, traveling or anything. It's an unprecedented situation for us, isn't it?
Yeah, so. Definitely. Then, obviously, so you're obviously over in Malaga, so got a bit of training. So obviously, you mentioned about your meniscus. Obviously, got that done. Obviously, whilst everybody else has been off. So I mean, how's the meniscus now? How's everything training?
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, I had to. They were going to try and see if they could suture it and save it, but I think it was that bad. I'd left it that long. It was stupid, really. You just had to remove basically half. There was a picture of it put up online, which was pretty bad. People were laughing at it. So they just took it out. So I was back on the mats in about 5 weeks, and then within about 8 weeks, it was pretty much. And now, compared to the last couple of years, the way I can move and roll, and then I can, I can do it. The biggest thing I've noticed is be able to get back to wrestling from standing up, because I've virtually had no confidence in my knee for a couple of years when we were doing stand up. So I'm back to being able to stand up and stuff. So I'm pretty pleased that I got it done. Just maybe I might need my other one doing in about 6 months. That's the way it is, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I've noticed that a lot. I mean, a lot of guys in my gym and guys in other gyms and stuff like that are obviously using the lockdown to get things sorted. So whether it be knee issues or whatever issues they're having, they're obviously using this time productively. So
100%. I did that, and I was, I just stayed on the weights pro. I stayed doing weights every single day. Within 2 days of coming out of the hospital, I was on the weight training. I kept that up during lockdown as well. When we were completely locked down, I kept weight training all the time. I thought I'm going to stay as strong as I can and get going. I put a few kilos on, but I think everyone did in that time period. But I'm feeling good now. Actually, I'm feeling like I did a few years ago when I was sort of that I was grappling at the sort of the best of a couple of years back, I was really struggling with my knee and a back problem and a neck problem. But the time off for real competitive and really competing and training to compete, I think it's done me a lot of good. So got to take some positives out of it, haven't we?
Definitely. So in regards to obviously your journey then, so when did your journey into jiu-jitsu begin? So how did it all start for you, Chris?
In jiu-jitsu, it was 2006, January 2006 I started. I was actually living over here then at the time. A bit more sort of time on my hands. There was a gym I used to go to, doing some weight training, stuff like that. And I had a back room and I had some mats in it and things. And a couple of times I just clocked the people rolling around and I'm looking, I'm going, that's the stuff they do in the UFC, isn't it? I was watching it back in the day when you used to be on Bravo on like a Sunday night, and once a month you used to see it, didn't you? Something like that. You used to watch them. Saturday night want to be on a Sunday, wouldn't it? And I was getting quite into it, you know what I mean? I'd watched it a bit, and I'd seen events here and there, and I was a bit of a fan, watching stuff. And I just thought, you know what, I'll have a little crack at that, and that was it. I just started in the January 2006, and that was it. I just got hooked straight away. Usual sketch. No one took it easy on you. You got beaten up, did this. I'd had a go. I'd done boxing and a bit of wrestling when I was a kid, and I could look after myself. And I just got schooled, and I was like, I was the guy who was like, yeah, I need to learn this stuff. And I got hooked by it. Really, to be honest, I loved it.
Definitely. And
what training?
Yeah. And what was your first initial thoughts? Because as I said, a lot of grapplers, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, especially that I speak to, when they say their first class was alien to them because going in and being inside another man's guard, like that close and stuff like that. So, I mean, what was your thoughts on your first class?
It wasn't too. Like I said, I played a lot of rugby when I was a kid as well. So the contact thing and the stood up wrestling thing and shooting double legs, that was quite, it was something that I was familiar with, really. That wasn't too bad. The guard thing, I got my head around it because I'd watched the UFC and MMA and things like that. So I sort of got what they were trying to do. I knew what an armbar was and the triangle stuff. I just didn't know how to do them. Do you know what I mean? So I had a rough idea. Like I think a few people do that these days, don't they? They watch the MMA, and they're familiar with it. And these days the commentators are right up there. That they're talking about armbars, triangles. People know what they are, don't they? These days, but back then a lot of people didn't know what was going on. But it's really weird.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it was. I sort of, because I sort of knew what was going on, I was okay with it. Yeah.
Nice. And then,
but I know what you mean.
It is. I mean, I remember me first starting, and I remember being that close and sweating on each other and being like, oh my god, this is horrible. And then, but obviously it's that thing. I mean, we know what we're doing. Everybody that's ever seen UFCs or even watched things like Grapplefest or Polaris or anything that anybody's watched, they'll have a real idea, so they know what to expect. But as I said, my first class, I was like, oh my god, this is this is a bit close. So, but yeah, got by it. So
yeah, I've seen a few people get put off. You know what I mean? There is a few people who just like, it's just not for me. And leading to it, it's fair enough. Not for everyone, is it?
No,
not for everyone.
No. So 2006 then. So were you? Obviously, you were training at that point. So were you training at a specific gym, or you mentioned obviously the kind of back room and stuff like that? So were you under anybody at that point?
Not particularly, no. I was going there. There's a place in Marbella. I was going down there. Then there was another place near where I lived, which was about a bit further down the road. I was going to a couple of places and just sort of training. And I was mainly doing just no gi. I sort of started doing the no gi because I wanted to do. The idea was, I'll try and fight some MMA and stuff like that. I didn't really do much in the gi after I've been training for about 6 months or something like that. I think I did a little bit in the gi, and then I had a few go at classes, but it was more just to get some more grappling in, really. So yeah, I wasn't really under anyone. I was floating around, doing some bits with my mate, doing some boxing, doing some pads, and I was just sort of trying to put it all together, really, sort of and see if I could have a go at it. I mean, I was like, I think I was 31 when I started, or something like that, maybe 30 or 31, something like that. So I had no aspirations of being a world champion, adult world champion, or anything like that. But I wanted to get good at it. And like I said, I'd done a lot of contact and combat sports, so I picked it up quite quickly. But I wasn't you see some guys come in now, and the technical level of them in a year, 2 years is just phenomenal, isn't it? Back then, I think I was just like pretty tough and strong, and I could, I was just dedicated. I just trained every day.
Yeah.
I trained 5, 6 days a week, and I still do.
Mm-hmm.
I always have, really, unless I've had injuries.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, when you first got affiliated with someone, then, so who was the first gym then you would have been affiliated on? Because I know that you are with ASW just now. So
yeah, I'm with ASW. Yeah, I mean, I've known Darren and trained with Darren since sort of when I came back to the UK 2008. So I've known him for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then I used to fight the MMA out at the Coliseum. We were based in the same gym. ASW and the Coliseum was based in the same gym. Mm-hmm. We had Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, and I think they did some daytimes, and they sort of Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays and things like that. So we sort of split the night times with them. But I did the odd session. I used to go and do the sessions with them as well. And like I said, I had a few MMA fights. I enjoyed those, but there was nothing high level, nothing there. It was more just getting in, having a go, and it was just something I wanted to do for myself, really. It wasn't the be all and end all. And then I think it got to about, I had a bit of a lull. I stopped doing the MMA in about 2011. And I had a bit of a lull. My net was in a bad way. It's been on and off over the years, but I managed to get it on top of it these days. And I had a bit of a lull where I was only sort of going and sparring once or twice a week and things like that. I wasn't really learning anything. I think it's 2012 or 2013. I thought, I'm going to give the gi a little go now. It was more just something to do, something to aim for, try and, go for the belts. I actually got a blue belt in 2008. I think they just gave me one because I was like king of the white belt, beating them up. It was, doing that for the game. I think I got a sympathy blue belt. I didn't really do much in the gi. But I never wore it again from like 2008 to 2012 or something like that. So I went back and started doing the gi, and I did a bit with a guy called Lucio Sergio, a Brazilian. He was really good.
So Lucio, top guy.
Yeah. He's, we ended up splitting up. We didn't get to see eye to eye in the end, but it was, one of those things, wasn't it? It sort of happens, doesn't it? So I went doing some gi with him. I ended up getting a purple belt. Like I say, by this time I went back in the gi, I'd been training for over 6 years, something like that. So I could grapple, but I didn't know collar chokes and bow and arrows and all this sort of stuff. I had to learn that sort of thing. And I went back there. He gave me a purple belt in 2014, I think it was. So I probably went back 2013, maybe. I think was it 2014? Was it 2013? I'm not sure. I know it was a blue belt for about 5.5 years, something like that. And I got a purple belt off him then. And then I started competing because I didn't really want to compete at blue belt because I just thought everyone would think I was a really bad sandbagger because I've been training for so long. So I waited till I went to purple belt, and then I had a bit of a nightmare actually in my first few matches because I didn't understand the point system. I was just all I knew was submission grappling really and going for subs. So I think I lost about the first 4 or 5 matches or something. They were all close, and I don't think I got tapped out or anything like that. But I'd be winning like 4-0, not even knowing I was winning 4-0, and end up losing like 5-4 and stuff like that. I got swept in the last minute and didn't even understand what had happened. You know what I mean? Because I was trying to jump on the leg or something, and they came to the top and I lost. So I had to get my head around the point system and things like that. And then I had to go crack at some of the IBJJF tournaments. Did okay at purple belt. Won the Euro in the Masters, obviously. Won the Europeans in the gi. Won the Europeans no gi. I got silver in the World Masters and silver in the World no gi as well at purple belt in December. That was 2015, was it? Yeah, 2015. And then I ended up getting promoted to brown belt at the end of 2015. Did the same again at brown belt. Had a crack at all the comps. Did the Europeans at brown belt like about 2 or 3 weeks after I got promoted in the December, in the January. Got silver in that. And then I won the World Masters 2016 after I'd just been a brown belt for about 7 or 8 months. I think I might have seen you over there actually. Yeah, I think I bumped into you with.
I think I've bumped into you a couple of times.
I remember chatting in the crowd. Yeah. It just hit me back then. I thought, I was speaking to you in the crowd in Vegas, weren't we, in the stand?
Yeah.
So yeah, I won the World Masters there, which is pretty good. I was pretty chuffed for that one. That was pretty hard. I think I had 4 fights. But, oh my god, the next day I couldn't even move it. I think you just put that much effort into it, and I trained like a lunatic for it. So I was really fit. Yeah, I won that. and the world no gi that year. I ended up losing the semi-final in the weight class and the absolute, but like by an advantage on both of them. So I was like fuming with that. Ended up getting the double bronze in that. But I won the Pan Ams as well, no gi Pan Ams. So I did okay through the belts. Obviously in the Masters, I'm not, talking adults, I was in the 40s then. But yeah, but you know yourself, don't you? Those big IBGF Masters comps, they're no joke. I mean, like when I won that World Masters, there was like 32 people in the division. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't like a little lot. And some of the guys, I look at the bullpen and I'm thinking, these guys are jacked, they've trained hard, especially the Americans and the Brazilians.
Yeah, I mean, especially over in Vegas.
Tough, I know it's not the adult.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely. You said the divisions are huge. Yeah, I think purple belt when I got silver, I think I had over 40 odd in my division. It was crazy.
Yeah. So. Now I remember Vegas. I mean, I remember going over there, and I remember in the UK, the people I was fighting was maybe a judo black belt, or they maybe done a little bit of grappling, no gi or whatever. And then I went to Vegas, and it was the first time I really seen like proper wrestling. And I'd obviously seen it on the television and things like that, but actually being on the mat, and the guy, one of the guys I fought was he'd been a wrestler ever since high school. Obviously same age as me, he was 40-year-old, but he'd never stopped wrestling, and he'd only just started doing jiu-jitsu. So
I ran into that guy in the purple belt when I got the silver, and I took everyone down. So somebody wrestling's not bad. Took everyone down to him down. I ran into this guy. I can't remember his name now. And we're in the final. And then he took me down right at the start and got 2 points. I was like, oh shit! And then I ended up with like, I don't know, a couple of advantages or 3 advantages or something like that from just trying to get back to the top. And he was just basically pinning me in half guard. I got up to the feet a couple of times. We got turned. It was like that. And then I found out later he'd won like I don't think it was NCAA, but it was like I think Division 2 or something like that wrestling. And he added me on Facebook and stuff. And I thought, these guys have got such a head start, and us, they've been doing this since they were like 6 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were good. But it's good, isn't it? Good competition. Enjoy it.
It definitely is. I mean, that's something that should be introduced over here for school kids. I mean, obviously in America and other countries as well. I mean, they're training wrestling or they're training some kind of combat sport, and they're actually doing big competitions. Yeah. So
you're only going back 100 years or so, and we were, some of the best in the world wrestlers were from here, especially the old catch wrestling and things like that. The folk style comes out of it, the freestyle, and we were guys sending people over to America, weren't we, to teach them. And the Russians were huge, weren't they? It's been in India forever. It's been around forever, hasn't it? And they just phased everything out. I don't think you can do contact football these days, can you? And rugby's getting phased out. So it's up to the parents, isn't it, these days, to take the kids really to stuff out of school, isn't it? Because the schools have just turned into just an absolute joke, haven't they?
Yeah.
So I think we're on the same page there.
I mean, it's good as well. I mean, I do enjoy it. When I used to go take my son to the kids' competitions, and you'd see all the kids there, and some of the kids were crazy, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Technical and things like that. And seeing them, some of these kids are now adults, and they're doing absolutely fantastic in adult divisions and things like that. So, unbelievable. Certainly jiu-jitsu anyway.
I think the wave's starting to come through, isn't it? There was a couple of them, obviously. I think those guys like Bradley Hill wasn't in there, and a few, that was sort of coming through, and they've got the black belts young. There's a few of those guys, isn't there? But I think we're on to like the real first wave of kids will be, they'll start coming through. Some of them are getting to blue belt now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think there'll be a real push in about 5 years when they start coming through, and hopefully we'll produce some good adults. It'd be nice to. I don't think, apart from Theon, I don't really think we've, got, in the IBGF, in the gi, that sort of thing, the people who are meddling and hitting. I don't think we've not had a male black belt, have we? I don't think we've had one medal, have we? I don't think in the adults.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't think so yet.
We've had plenty of masters.
Yeah.
I don't think we have. No, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But again, going on to, I think the submission grappling scene in the UK, I think that's really it's starting to push the fore, isn't it? I think a lot of people are starting to enjoy that a lot more than the restriction. But with the IBGF bringing heel-hooks back in and making things a little bit more freer in the adult divisions, I think we'll see a few people sort of start to go for things like that. You know, I remember speaking to Ross Nichols a year or so ago, and he was saying, you know, start doing that, I'm going to start entering a few tournaments and things. So I think some of our top guys will start doing like that. I think sure the likes of Ash Williams and people will start looking at it and, you know, and start thinking, well, you know, I can make a bit more of it, even though they're making their name for themselves already on the pro circuit. But it's nice to get those wins, and it's nice if you could say you're a world champion one day.
Yeah. I think Ash as well. Ash has got his mindset on ADCC, so I think he's. I don't know, but will he?
I don't blame him. That's the one for me. That's the one for me. You know, I think that's the competition for me. It's they can call it the Olympics. I know they say it's the Olympics of grappling. I'm not too keen on that sort of money, but I just think it's a standout alone. For me, it's always been the best show, and I think it always was for all the Brazilians and everything. It's only since Gordon started winning it that the Brazilians have sort of started backstepping and saying, "Oh no, the IBGF is better." But yeah, I think for me, it's the number one. It's a premier event. It's the best rule set for the tournament. I think it's the most free and it gives you time to work. I love the fact you had the first half of the match is completely free and you can just go for anything you want. Then the second half, if you can't get that submission, you know, it's a game on. You can play points game. So there's something there for everyone, isn't there? And I like the way they wrestle a bit more at the start as well. I do enjoy that a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be a good show. 2020. 2022, sorry, they've moved it to, should have been this year, shouldn't it? And obviously with the pandemic and stuff, they've moved it on. I think it's going to be in September, 2022. In Las Vegas.
Definitely want to look out for, because as I said, obviously there's quite a few British guys looking to go in. I know that Ash is starting to do some of the training courses, because he was quite big on that when I spoke to him. He said about getting all the black belts together to all train together and make each other that much better.
Can't see how that's not going to help anybody. It's just, you know, it's the best way to do it. Big open mats. He's split the weight, and I understand why he's done it. He's done under 70 guys, hasn't he? And so for his division, he's doing it, you know, to help himself and help that. But at the same time, he's bringing people together. So it's a great idea. It's a great. I've always been a big fan of open mats and training. I've never been to this closed thing. I think it's a good thing to do. I think the heavier guys were doing I think it was an under 90 kilo one and then an open one or something. There's a few goals. I don't even know if they got kicked off or whatever, but I know Ash did his. And it looked like it's huge. I'm sure about 100 people down there. I've noticed in the group he's set up the second one, hasn't he? I think for in June, you know, after when they lift the restrictions in June. I know he's got Theon Davis coming over to do a guest spot there. So fair play to him. So I hope they all absolutely smash it. I want to see them, you know, doing it. We've got Tom Halpin over here, who's in the last ADCC at the moment. He's training with us in Spain because obviously there's no training in Ireland. He's been over here for a few months now. Went back at Christmas and then came back. And because obviously he's in Ireland, he can travel. He's not stuck in the UK. So he's been over here. He's the same. They want the ADCC. They want to get that going again. I think that's what everyone's aiming for.
Yeah.
And I think Europe will do well this year. I think we'll do well.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that with the Polaris squad when they had the UK versus Europe, and the European team came and absolutely ran riot, did absolutely brilliant, and you kind of seen that. So obviously the guys from there, and then obviously you're bringing in some of the UK guys, and then going to the ADCC. It can only be good, definitely good, certainly for us anyway.
I actually enjoyed the Nogi event they did, even though there was less submissions. I thought the matches were a lot better. I thought the Gi one, it was a little bit the UK team wasn't quite the level the European team was. It was a lot more exciting for the fans. For some of the fans, there was more submissions, but I thought there was a few mismatches in there. Whereas the Nogi one, I thought that was really, really good. And I know people saying there wasn't many subs, but as a fan of a grappling, I thought that the actual standard of the grappling was amazing. I thought it was really good. So yeah, I think they're onto a good thing there with the squads one. I speak to the Polaris guys a lot. We speak about dates, and so we don't clash with people and stuff like that. They're good guys, and I wish them all the best. And I think they're going with the squads one again. They're doing a UK v USA one, aren't they? Which is July the 17th, something like that. So yeah, good luck to them. I think they've decided on a format and sticking to it, and it's a pretty good format, to be honest. So
I mean, it looked good. It definitely looked good. As I say, the first one I got to see was obviously the last one, which was the gi one. And I mean, it was good. I mean, I just thought, obviously, like, I mean, the UK, we were right in the middle of a lockdown at that point. Obviously, the European guys got to train a bit more, but the UK guys, as I say, how much training they actually got and who they were able to train with, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, as I say, that it was a good event, really, really good event. So.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's, even if you haven't got loads of high level partners, if you've got loads of different guys, you can still train. But with the lockdown being on, I think people were on very limited training. I know there was a couple of people said I literally had like 2 weeks training. Just, they weren't sharp, they weren't match fit. So it's a tough one, but they still put on a show. They got paid. They won't have done the careers any harm. They fought in high level grappling events.
Yeah.
The good thing about grappling is that you can lose matches, you can get submitted. It's not like boxing or things like that where your career's over if you lose, and that makes for a lot of mismatches and promoters giving people easy wins. In grappling, people want to see the best guys fight each other, and if you lose and then you go in your next match and you win, it's forgotten about anyways. I've had plenty of losses, you know what I mean? I've had days where I've just felt like shit, days where I've made mistakes. I've got one where I just slipped once when I went to the takedown, slipped over and I ended up getting choked out. And I'm like, well, it is what it is, isn't it? You just gotta.
Yeah.
I've won a lot more than I've lost, and if you lose, it's part of the game. You've got to swallow it.
Definitely.
No one likes it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And then for you, then, so obviously you've got your purple belt, you've got your brown belt, so your black belt. When did that come for you, then, Chris?
Yeah, I got my black belt. I opened my own gym, 2017. And I got my black belt on June the 18th in 2018. Came off Mauricio Gomez, but it was sort of through Ben Poppleton. I was affiliated with Ben, with Gordo, and he basically just said to me, got it as a meeting, as me and my coach Darren, who's been training 30 years now, over 30 years in everything as well. He's just unbelievable grappler. And he was still on a brown belt because he just basically hadn't bothered to grade ever. He got a blue belt of Hoist Gracie in 1999, and then just basically hadn't, he got Colin Robinson had sorted him out with a couple of belts near the end, but he just never bothered grading. Even though he was a high level judo black belt, he could do everything. And Ben basically sort of said, he goes, listen, I brought Mauricio along. We didn't know this was happening. He said he's going to do the seminar, so we didn't know what was happening. And he came up, and then afterwards he explained to me, he goes, I didn't want to give you your black belt because, it's to Darren, he said, because, you've been training longer than me and you're above me and level, I didn't want to do it. And so he brought Mauricio into it, which is pretty cool. So it's, it's not a bad guy to get off. I've kept a good relationship with Mauricio ever since. I sort of obviously knew him before as well. So it's been, it was pretty cool guys. Everyone says, you get your black belt off and say Mauricio Gomez. It's not a bad thing to say, but I've got to give Ben a lot of props because Ben's such a real good guy, and I'm part of the Gordo Europe team representing him, and he's one of those guys. He doesn't do it for money. He's not in it for that. He's really looking to push jiu-jitsu forward and take away a lot of the bullshit that he's encountered over the years. With the IBJF, and you can't get in, and you need belts, and you need this, and you need stripes, and I know guys who've been black belts for like 7-8 years, they've gone to register the belt with the IBJF and they're starting to get at the bottom of the pile, aren't they? And they're like, I'm nearly a third degree black belt, mate, in the eyes of everyone apart from the IBJF. So Ben's took a lot of that hassle, sort of taught me the ins and outs, then just said, listen, get your belt registered straight away, get in the system, do this, do that. So yeah, I'm coming up. I think I'll get my first degree in my black belt in about 3 months' time, something like that. Nice. Yeah, the 18th. So yeah, 18th of June. So yeah, 15th or 16th of March, isn't it today? So yeah, not far off that. So then I'll have my first legitimate stripe in my life.
And then I know that with Ben. I mean, Ben's obviously Ben Poppleton. Everybody knows Ben. So, but Ben's quite approachable as well. I mean, I've said he'll come on if you put a post on. Ben will jump on and he'll talk to you and things like that. So
yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. Really knowledgeable, about a lot of subjects that he's interested in. He'll tell you if he's not interested in something, doesn't know shit about it. He'll just say, but what he is interested in, he's one of those guys. Obviously, he's a funny guy as well. Got that northern sense of humor that we've got. And he'll go away and read so many books and so many things, and he'll do one of those. He won't reform his opinion. He likes to, look at both sides and form the right opinion. And he is knowledgeable, you know, about stuff. And he's got a really good game as well, and he's got himself fit. He had a bad back injury and stuff. He's like that. He's got himself in really good shape at the moment, and he's I think he's enjoying himself being back on the mats as well. He's been back over in the UK, which is weird because he normally spends a lot of time in Tenerife, but he's been back over in the UK for quite a lot of lockdown. But I speak to him regularly, you know, I speak to him sort of, and I mean, we've got a little group going in on Facebook as well, and we're like, you know, that's pretty much every 2-3 days someone's talking about something. Especially it's gone a little bit quiet, obviously, with lockdown thing, but I think there's been a lot of good advice given between the guys as well. It's just all the black belts are in it who are affiliated, and I think, you know, people have helped people out with like the grants and what they can and can't do, the kids classes, is when you can come back, social distancing. So everyone's helped each other out. Which, you know, it's crazy times, isn't it? So it's good to see people sticking together.
Yeah,
doing it like that.
That's good. I like to hear that. I mean, as I say, that's something. It doesn't happen a lot. I mean, as I say, you guys have got the group, so you're able to help each other. But as I say, there's been some black belt coaches and gyms and stuff like that haven't had the benefit of being part of a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the stuff I've heard they've been coming out with from the UK, because obviously I've not really had much to do with it or had to do. You know, some things. Some people have had some absolute nightmares by the sound of it, and it seems to be as well. Like there's different councils. Like some of the guys said, "Yeah, I got my grant, got this through, got this grant through. They're helping me out with this furlough thing. They're doing that." And then other guys have been from different parts of the country, and their councils are just like they're just giving me nothing. I'm getting absolutely zero. You know, you've got to feel for those guys, and you know the people have been struggling really. You know, and landlords, you know. I do get the side because I've got a few mates who are landlords and stuff like that, and they're like, well, how do you want me to pay my mortgage? I'm not getting a mortgage break.
Yeah.
This and that. They're commercial businesses themselves. They've got to be paid. And these guys say, my landlord's not helping me out. So you can see both sides of it and everything. And then everyone's complaining about the government that's gotten helped out. And then, you know, they're all right awarding these big contracts for the mates, aren't they? But then the little guy at the bottom of the pile gets screwed all the time, don't you? So it's been tough for a lot of people. I've felt for a lot of people. And I've seen some heartbreaking posts on social media, and there's, you know, you look at these guys, they spend decades building businesses up, and not just in jiu-jitsu and everything.
Yeah.
You just see them going to the wall, and they've got nowhere to turn. I know guys who are earning 50 grand a year, and they're on universal credit now, and it's absolute madness, isn't it? Madness.
Nah. It is. I mean, my own coach is Marcus Nardini, and obviously he has the gym in Glasgow, so he's got the gym in Glasgow, and again, he was in a position where the landlord still wanted his rent, so he had to pay the rent. He's obviously got all his other charges on top of that. The tax man, obviously the UK, the HMRC, they delayed the money until such and such a day. I think it's like this. I think it's coming up in April. He's got to then start paying.
I think they gave about 60 days, didn't they? Something, that's it, you know. But you still got to pay your dues, haven't you?
Yes.
They always want paying those guys.
Yeah. So and Marcos, I mean, a lot of the gym owners did. What happened in the UK was when the first lockdown came, they were told, right, you need to change the gym to make it COVID friendly. So you had to have obviously the hand creams or the hand stuff. You had to do the thermometer. You had to. I mean, you had to close off the showers and changing room. You had to put dividers up, and so a lot of the gym owners did that. I mean, they got the first grant, they did all that, and then obviously they opened up for a couple of months and then shut them all down again. And then so gym owners are thinking, well, you told me to get all this stuff, we got it. There's been no issues, and then now we're getting closed down.
Spent our money on it. Yeah, and the money they're getting for the grants to spending on this, aren't they? Instead of like, you know, and then think, well, who's paying me? Where's my wages? Where's this? So I think the self-employed have been terribly treated, you know, by, you know, full stop. You know, like I say, even the Grapplefest, I got zero financial help for it, despite paying, you know, tax and everything's right. It's a limited company, it should be there. But anyone who worked for me could have claimed furlough, but me as a company director didn't get anything. And you just think, how does that work? You know?
It's been.
So I feel for everyone who's self-employed, and I think there's been a bit of a divide on there. People who've been working and been furloughed, it's like divided the country. We've had so many divides, haven't we, on stuff and but you know, as someone who's been self-employed pretty much all the life, it's been pretty tough. And obviously now the UK's left Europe, I've had to change a lot of stuff over now because it's not great for me because I can be taxed in the UK and in Spain now because whereas when we're in the European Union, it's easy. You could just do the same thing and you could work and run everything the same. So so I'm just about getting around there with all the paperwork with that as well. So yeah, that's been a massive pain in the ass as well. So it's, hopefully we get in there.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about the UK, England's, I think, April 12th. Scotland, we're 2 weeks behind, so we're April 26th. I think Wales.
Yeah.
I'm sure is around about April the 17th. So I think it's England, Wales, Scotland, and then I think Northern Ireland. I don't know if they're open earlier or later, but yeah, as I said, hopefully that April, and then they're talking about full contact in June, July time. So, which is good.
June 21st, wasn't it?
Yeah,
June the 21st. So that's why I think Polaris have gone for July. I've looked at a couple of dates in July as well. Nothing set in stone yet. The biggest issue I've got with Grapplefest, thinking on that, is basically the flights from, because obviously to bring the big names in, even the Australians, the guys from America and Brazil, pretty much all reside. It's international flights, and there's no thing. It says in June that basically the world's going to open up in July. In July, it's all going to be open, but is it? that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like, do I go ahead and spend a load of money, book this, start booking flights, start booking hotels, start doing all this, and then they say no, it's done. So I've already got a September date and a November date in the calendar as well. Whether I go ahead in July or whether I leave it till September, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm basically just going to give it 4 to 6 weeks and just see how things pan out. In April the 12th, when the pubs open, if everyone goes mental in England and it ends up going crazy. But I think there's got to be some light at the end of the tunnel now. I think they've vaccinated over 25 million people, which is, the 65, 70 million in the UK. So there's got to be some light at the end of the tunnel now. It can't carry on. It's got to, I think we're getting there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, July. If not, we're looking at September and November.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some of the stats for certainly Scotland. I mean, our cases, and I think in England as well, but Scotland's cases are down more than half of what they were in January. So basically, so in England, as I say, I don't know if England's that high, but England their cases are coming right down as well. So it's looking good so far.
Yeah, I think there was, like you said, a bit of a rise, wasn't there, after the Christmas sort of thing? And I think people obviously did meet up for Christmas, and rightly so, I think, by then. But then, let's face it, it's pretty much the time of year everyone does get flu anyway, don't they? Do you remember going to the Europeans in January and everyone used to come home ill? Everybody used to end up going home with a cold or the flu, didn't you?
Every year.
People in a tiny place. And every year, I ended up getting ill whenever I went there. So it's that time of year, isn't it? It's flu season, isn't it? And I'm not here to get into the debates of is COVID flu or whatever. I'm not qualified to be talking about that in the slightest. But it's a season where you get viral infections.
Yeah,
viral infections are right. Hopefully, we're coming out of the snow and the cold weather, and there's a bit of sun. We've been okay. We're having decent days over here at the moment. It's nice and warm. So the numbers here are going down. The numbers in the UK seem to be going down. There's people seem to be getting. Italy, I've heard, seems to be going a little bit bad again. But I'll be honest with you, I stay off the mainstream sites because it's just doom and gloom. So I'm probably getting some of the information secondhand. But I have seen things popping up, like you said, about cases going right down. So there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel now. There's got to be.
Yeah, definitely. Fingers crossed. So obviously talking about Grapplefest. So obviously Grapplefest, how did that come about for you then? Because I know you mentioned about you've always been into kind of the no-gi grappling submission only. So I mean, how did Grapplefest come about?
It came about really because I was a fan of the likes of Polaris and Fight to Win, things like that. I used to watch those shows. I like them. I much prefer the no-gi aspect of it. Always loved ADCC. It's always been my favourite tournament. So I did a show called Tanko. I competed on that. I think it was 2016 or something like that. Maybe 2017, 2016, I think it was. It was really good, and it was really nice. And they put a big, like a a bit like Meta Morris, which was on a raised platform, big crowd. It was in Manchester, and it did really well, really good event. But then I think, I don't know what happened with Tenko. It seemed to fold, and I'm not really sure what happened with it. But ever since then, I just thought there is room for something like this in the north of England. Polaris was always down south, and they did a lot of key matches and things like that. And I just thought there is room for it to do what I like, what I personally like. I wasn't really thinking too much about what will the public want, because the opinions are divided all the time. So if you spend your time worrying about what everyone else wants, like you'll never get anywhere. I thought, well, this is what I like. Is me and Darren run it together. It's 50-50. I'm sort of the face of it, really. He's more in the background, but he prefers it that way, and he just shoves me at the front. So I do all the talking and stuff. And we just decided, let's showcase our style of grappling. It's all submissions. You've got neck cranks, you've got heel hooks, twist spurs. You can do any of that. It is judged because obviously I'm not a fan of having draws, because I've been in matches myself like that, 10-minute matches where you start getting the better of somebody. And if they're pretty good as well, if they shell up in a ball or just go defensive, even though you're all over them positionally, you can end up drawing, and like that's not the story of the match. Oh God, I've just had a battery low on my ear thing. Then we might have to be a little bit quicker. Sorry about that. Fully charged them as well, so I don't know if it's been drained. It's the first time we've used them though. So yeah, that was the plan. We just decided to push it, like that. Let's push it forward. Let's do our style. Let's see how it works out. The first show we put on was like an all UK show. It was really good, really well received. Everyone loved it. Everyone liked the rule set. Everyone, liked the crowd, the venue. We wanted it it's a cliche. I always say I wanted it to be loud and noisy, and everyone having a drink. It's like the darts rather than the snooker. I didn't want that quiet atmosphere.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be, like that. And it did really well. So the second event, we just thought, right, let's go balls to the wall. I knew Craig Jones, so I got in touch with him. Said, listen, will you do a match for us? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. And I started scouting around trying to get in an opponent. And then when I was looking around to get someone, I just thought, well, what about Matthias Deniz? That they were two of the top guys. So I just got in touch with him, went for it, and he said yeah, and that was it. Then we sort of things really took off for us, and that's when Flow Grappling got in touch, and they said, listen, you look like you're putting a good event on. We've got this match. We might be interested in doing a deal. Do you want to chat to us? I was like, yeah, 100%. So we sat down, had a little meeting with them on the Skype thing. Managed to thrash a deal out. Got a contract with them. There's a few things, where we had to produce shows. We had to have certain, levels of people who are in their rankings. So we have to keep the standard up, the standard high. And and that was it. And then we just sort of grew from there. Really, just grew it up. Yeah, in 2017 was the idea, and got the first show out in 2018, and then here we are, sort of 3 years later, and it's huge. Obviously, we managed to get 2 shows on last year. We managed to get the February one, and then we got the closed door one in July, which we had some fantastic matches on. Ian Turney was an amazing main event, but I hated it personally because it just wasn't what I'm used to, the crowd and the atmosphere and everything. It's just not the same. So we decided to wait. Let's wait until we get the crowd back. So yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you notice about Grapplefest is the crowd is right on the mat. Do you know what I mean? That because obviously you've got the kind of booths at the side, so it's very different from, let's say, like a Polaris or, as you mentioned, Meta Morris or any other one where it's maybe a raised platform and people, they're not as close to the. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with what was the one I watched the other day? The Quintet. Is it the Japanese one? And it was in Japan. It was very quiet. Very, very quiet. I mean, no noise, no atmosphere at all. But
Japanese. Look at Pride. The Pride in the MMA. That was really quiet, and occasionally all used to clap.
Yeah.
We didn't want that. Like I say, we've got the booths at the side. They're standing on one area, and the other one is like a big L round the back, which is balconies and booths, and everyone, they're looking down on you. It's very gladiatorial. It's very, that was the effect that we wanted. I've seen a couple of big names, but really nervous, and sort of it's affected them. The guys who I think who compete at the highest level in the world, and it's a little bit different. You go to the worlds, don't you? There's 16 mats going on. You don't really that. apart from the finals, no one's too bothered about your matches, are they? You're just sort of cracking on. This is one match. There's 600, 700, 800 people all watching you, staring at you. It's all there. The noise there. The DJ's booming the music, and the music playing all the way through. The crowd's cheering. Everyone's had a drink. And I've seen a few people get really, really nervous, and it affects a few people. But then I've also seen people absolutely thrive off it, and just, you know, people like Craig and a few of the other big names have said to us, it is the best place, the best platform. It's so good every time. It never fails. The crowd's huge. When people like that, guys at the top level giving those compliments, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, you create something a little bit different. And a lot of the messages we get from the Americans are just like, that event is so fucking cool. Like, yeah, it's so fucking cool, man. You know, they're all, they love it. You know, it's just crazy. They can't believe that we have a show in a nightclub. They're like, well, what? They can't get their head around it.
No, it's been absolutely awesome. As I've been watching every one, and it's always been brilliant. Obviously, we've seen a couple of Scottish guys. I mean, I mean, that takes us on to a couple of questions. So they're saying, who are the next guys in line for the 70 kilo belt? And they want to know anybody from Scotland. Now, there has been somebody mentioned from Scotland, Craig McIntosh, Mop. So
yeah, Craig's done great. He's had some great matches on there. He probably won't be on for the belt, but he's bringing himself up the rankings, definitely. That was the whole plan. The plan was to listen to make some superstars for us. At the moment, our sort of belt holders, Kader Rutulo, he's a 70 key there. The next guy in line with him is, you know, I don't want to say it yet because we've had conversations about the thing, but it's someone who's in the top 5 world ranked with Flow Grappling. So it's a high level opponent. But the plan is you keep winning matches, you keep beating people, keep coming through, you get on the main card, you get higher and higher. This is the plan in the end. We want our guys in the, you know, you look at Ash Williams, he's had his wins on Polaris, Grapplefest, and that he's pushed himself up. He fought, you know, for the belt last time. Lost to K, but he's had some good wins on Polaris. He is now in the top 5 Flow Grappling rankings. I think he's, you know, one of the first, you know, sort of UK guys. You know, to get there in there. I don't know if Tom Halpin's in there actually, but this is the plan to get those guys up there, and we're raising that level for them because obviously, you know, they base their rankings off you know, off super fights really, and big tournament wins, things like that.
Yeah.
So this is the plan. But yeah, Craig's definitely a guy we'll bring back on the show. He's a great guy. I always have a chat with him, always have a laugh with him, and he's had some, you know, good. He got a big win on the last show, and you know, he's looking good. All the guys from Scotland have been great. We've come on to Scotland, and you know what, they've been really easy to deal with as well. Good guys. But a lot of the guys I've come across a couple of dickheads, but it's few and far between. You know what I mean? Most of the guys are really down to earth.
Yeah.
A lot of them just want a shot on the show at, you know, purple belt, brown belt. Look on the I don't really like to call it the you know, the prelims or anything like that. We just split the card in half and make, you know, the main card. But if you get yourself on the main card, you fight someone good.
Yeah.
So push yourself up. But yeah, Craig will definitely be back, definitely.
Brilliant. And then what about
and your coach? You know, we'll have Marcus. We'll definitely bring Marcus.
Yeah, listen, Marcos loved it. I mean, obviously he came down and absolutely loved it. It didn't go well for him that night, but I mean, it's
He took a very tough fight. He took a very tough fight against someone who's probably not suited to his style as much, but he loved it. He was a great guy, really respectful. So yeah, I'd love to get him back on as well. We spoke last time about before the show. We were gonna, you know, the one we were gonna do with Gordon Ryan and stuff like that. I spoke to him about getting on that one, to be honest with you, but obviously that all fell apart with COVID. It was supposed to be in May, so that one killed me when that one got squashed. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's one, especially Gordon Ryan, big name. As I say, that's one I'm pretty sure. Obviously, you'll get the chance to get him back over again. So, and definitely get a show with him.
Yeah, I'm in contact with his team. In contact with his team and his management team. One thing that lockdowns afforded me, I literally, in the first sort of 3-4 months that we had, especially when I was stuck in the house and couldn't go anywhere, I just got on my phone and on the laptop and I just spoke to all the top guys in the world. They all knew about us now as well. They all know about us. It wasn't like I was, you know, the first, you know, Grapplefest 1, 2, 3 when I was on to introducers and show them some footage. They all knew about us, and pretty much every single one of them said, "Yeah, let's try and do something." Because obviously their schedules have been, you know, killed in half. They lost all the seminars, they lost all the super fights. There's no tournaments going on. So those guys were bored as well. So I managed to make some good contacts. So it's one of the good things for Grapplefest that came out of it. I managed to have a good chat with all these people. So yeah, it's we should have Gordon back. Really confident of bringing him back at some point this year. It's just with his schedule. I think you know what he's like.
Yeah, he's a busy guy, very, very busy guy. Everybody wants him. Everybody's in big demand. Yeah. So,
big demand, yeah, and he wants big money as well. So we've got to come up with
that. So obviously, big things.
No furlough.
Yeah, so big things coming from Grapplefest. So obviously, again, you guys are quite. You're on social media, so obviously anything that comes up social media wise, any events and stuff like that, you always find it on the Grapplefest kind of Facebook page, and Chris obviously keeps up to date on the underground as well, so everything will be updated on that. So yeah, looking forward to definitely a lot of good events coming. Fingers crossed, as I say, we get out of this lockdown and we get everything back up and running. So
I'm really hoping we have a good second half of the year. Really hoping for it. You know, like I said, the ADCC trials are scheduled for September as well, aren't they? In Poland, the European ones.
Yeah,
people have got that to look forward to. You know, it's really, you know, yeah. I'm just really hoping we get everything back together, everything on course, and get going.
Yeah,
but we'll keep everything up to date, like I said, Instagram, Facebook. We're always on those all the time, posting. So,
yeah. And then for you, Chris, what's your kind of personal goals? What's your vision for yourself?
I'm really enjoying coaching at the moment. Obviously, I've coached for a long time now, but I'm really sort of getting into. Still there? I thought I lost you a sec, man.
Yeah, still here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the coaching. I sort of coach every day over here now, 5-6 days a week. I just enjoy being on the mats now. Like I say, when you're older and if I can get injury free and train, I do want to compete. The only one I sort of haven't really got is I haven't got a big IBJF title at black belt, so I'd like to try and get an OG title with that.
Yeah.
And the biggest one that I want to win is the ADCC Masters. Should have been in November last year. The first one they were going to do, the World Masters. They were going to do that in Poland last year in November. That got cancelled, so I'm hoping that's going to be on at the back end of the year as well. So that'll be my goal if I can get into that one and try and win that. So they're the only two things competition wise for me. But I do like competing. Any super fights can get or anything like that, as long as it's fair. When I always say, listen, just give me anyone. So of around 90 kilos, who's over 40, I'll fight anybody. You know what I mean? I fought loads of guys who are in the 20s and stuff like that. But if I'm getting any big fights or anything like that, it's harder and harder to get older. But yeah, I just every day's a good day. If I can get on the mat and train with the guys, I'm happy with that, mate.
Nice one. And then for you, anybody, it's been a long journey for you. As I said, and it's going to be an even longer one going forward. But anybody that you want to kind of thank for your journey, so any kind of, whether it be sponsors or training partners, coaches, or anybody like that.
Yeah, obviously my team, ASW, Darren Morris, I know everyone says it about the coach, but he literally is the best grappling brain and the best sort of grappler ever come. I can't even pass his guard. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Never come at any level. People say, "Oh yeah, have you ever tapped the coach?" I'm like, "Mate, I can't even pass his guard." So that doesn't even matter. He's been amazing. You know, at ASW, all the lads have been amazing all over the days. Liverpool, got guys up over in Jerez and Gibraltar and things like that. So one of the guys I'm teaching at Luis Barnett in Malaga over there. Everyone's been great. That's been great. You know, a few good sponsors over the years who've been really good. The Grapplefest sponsors have been great. We've lost a couple due to the pandemic. I think a few people have struggled. So if anyone's interested in any sponsorship for the show, then yeah, I'm going to be looking for that as well for the next few months. But yeah, and then basically just everyone who's ever got on the mat with me and trained with me, and guys who've come in when I was doing competitions, who got up at 6 a.m. and got in and trained with me and things like that. And you don't forget those people, you know what I mean? And everyone who's come and done some sessions, even there's some guys who've quit, but they were there for 2 or 3 years and they were mat with me all the time. And, you just got to thank those guys for getting on with it. But you'll know yourself when you've been around a bit, faces change, it goes in cycles. Very rare. Yeah. There's only a few of us, isn't there, who are just around forever. But yeah, it's been good. And like I said, I'm 15 years in now. I'm open to still. The goal is just to still be on the mats in another 15 years, and if I can do that, then
I
think I've done all right.
Yeah. We always laugh. I mean, there's quite a few of us in the gym I train at that are over 40-year-old, and the young guns, all these young 20-year-olds, always come up and give us a hard time and saying, "Oh, listen, we could smash you, old man," and we just laugh and say, "Well, listen, if you're still doing this at 40-year-old, then good on you." So.
Yeah, it's a great show. Unfortunately for me, there's no hardly anyone else who's over 40 years old. Everyone seems to be young. You know what I mean? So there's a few guys who are training, but they're coming from. Fortunately, the experience is still carrying me there, but you can feel it. I can have when I'm on the mat, I feel great. The cardio's great. I can do 10 rounds sparring, do that. But they bounce out of bed the next day. I don't. I get up and I shuffle to the toilet. It's like, yeah, that's the difference. The recovery is the difference. 100% the recovery.
Yeah, definitely. And then final thing for you then, we always love, whenever I've got a black belt, we chat with a black belt. We always like to try and get a little bit of black belt wisdom. So yeah, anything that you could pass on to obviously the people that are watching, any black belt wisdom.
Literally, for me, mate, is be consistent. Like, just get on the mat as much as you can. Everyone's got jobs, lives, and bills to pay and stuff like that. Get all that. But I think out of 7 days, most gyms are open 7 days. These aren't. They have open mats only the weekends and stuff. If you can get in 3 or 4 times a week, you're gonna get good. It's like the old Chris Houghton one, isn't it? It's not about who's good, it's about who's left. I wasn't, one that person. I think people think, oh yeah, so I want to do this. I didn't pick it up from day one. It took a lot of graft for me to get at any sort of decent level. And it was literally, I was the guy who went 5-6 times a week, every single week. And that's the only thing there is. It's literally get there. Because it's like anything, isn't it? We all play football when we were a kid. There's only like 1% when I'm played in the Premier Leagues or anything like that. Wasn't there? Probably less, isn't it? But we all play football. So you're only going to be as good as you're going to be. You're not all going to be adult world champions. But you can become, it's one of those sports, you're going to have something, some attribute that you can use. Do you know what I mean? So as long as you can identify that and turn up and train all the time. If you only turn up once a month, then don't be disheartened if you're getting smashed by the guys who you were smashing a few years ago, because they've been training 4 or 5 times a week. Just be consistent. That is literally it. That's all I can say to people, honestly. There's no secret. It's like anything in life, there's no secret.
Yeah, definitely. So,
got a graph.
Yeah, so no, listen, thank you very much for that. As I said, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. As I said, obviously, I've seen you a couple of times at different competitions and obviously watching Grapplefest and things like that. And having you on Facebook, obviously, I get to see, obviously, the things that you do and so on, anything that you post. So it's always an honour to see you, Chris. So looking forward to seeing Grapplefest, what comes at Grapplefest. As Chris mentioned, Facebook page, Instagram page. There's always updates whenever any shows are mentioned. As he said as well, just keep training, keep going out, winning competitions, winning matches, and I'm pretty sure Chris will give someone a call at some point, depending on how well you get.
If you're doing well and you're winning, I'll have my eye on you. I have my eye on the regional circuit, national circuit. I've got my eyes on it. People think I've got my finger. I'm always looking out for the next guy. So just keep training, keep going. Just you said, mate. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much for having me on, dude.
Definitely. Listen, it's been an honour. And yeah, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thank you again.
Cheers, bro. Thanks, Steve. See you, mate.